Tonight, Bob Dole, Barbara Streisand, and more. But first, your local news.
I'm Tony Cornett, and straight ahead on LateCast, we'll have a wrap-up of today's inaugural event.
I'm Sherry Williams. Folks, here in the Brazos Valley, we're in the streets and on the stage celebrating the birth of Martin Luther King Jr.
And we'll give you a sneak peek at what could be the new Bryan High School. LateCast is next.
Closed captioning on News Star 3 is brought to you by Union Pacific Resources. Brazos Valley, this is your news. With news anchors Tony Cornett and Sherry Williams, sports director Daryl Bruffett, and meteorologist Bob French with your weather. The News Star 3 LateCast. This is your news.
Hello, Brazos Valley. I'm Sherry Williams.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tony Cornett, and this is your news. President Clinton took the oath of office today on Capitol Hill, officially beginning his second term. He's the first Democratic president to be elected for a second term since Franklin Roosevelt some 60 years ago.
That's right. It was an historic day. Liz Mullen reports from Washington.
15 inaugural balls packed into one exhausting day, but the first couple seems up to it.
A lot of people have asked me today what it feels like to be inaugurated for the second time. It's better the second time around.
The theme of this last inauguration of the century, unity and renewal.
When last we gathered, our march to this new future seemed less certain than it does today. We vowed then to set a clear course to renew our nation.
Many say that renewal has already begun. Amid partisan squabbling on the Hill, this inauguration day seemed the perfect opportunity to mend fences. At a congressional luncheon, House Speaker Newt Gingrich presented the president and the vice president with flags flown in their honor over the Capitol Dome.
While we may disagree about some things, here you're among friends. And as Americans, we cherish and wish you Godspeed in your administration.
President Clinton embraced that spirit.
And tomorrow we will start to work on it. For today, I think we should all, as the previous speakers have said, enjoy being Americans.
The inaugural parade, an American tradition. The first family delighting the crowds by walking part of the way back to the White House. The President and the First Lady have miles to go before they return to the White House. They'll be attending all 15 inaugural balls before returning at 4 in the morning on the first day of President Clinton's second term. Liz Mullen, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In other news, last Saturday, residents of Kensington Place Apartments in College Station awoke to the sound of firefighters battling a blaze. But in apartment 211, one Texas A&M student never woke up. 19-year-old Paul Melanie died in the blaze, while his roommate, 19-year-old Alex Clinton, was injured so badly he had to be care flighted to Houston's Herman Hospital.
Today, College Station fire officials said the casualties were avoidable. Fire investigators found the apartment's smoke detector in a closet disconnected. College Station Fire Marshal John Meese says the smoke detector could have saved Paul Melanie's life.
I really believe that deep down that a working smoke detector, this young man would be with us today.
Meese says a cigarette probably started the fire at one end of a couch. He adds that in addition to checking smoke detectors once a month, smokers should make sure their cigarettes are really out before they turn in for the night.
And you know, back in November, we told you that someone had murdered 4 elderly people in Austin County near Belleville. Well, authorities there still have made no arrest. The murders happened in the tiny community of Raccoon Bend.
20 to 30 people have been questioned, and Sheriff's Department officials say blood, hair, and saliva samples have been taken from those potential suspects, but again, they haven't arrested anyone. Bryan School Board members met today to discuss the design developments for the Bryan High School project. A model of the project was on display at the administration building for the public to see, and when it's finished, grades 9 through 12 will be in the same building. Bryan 9th graders currently attend classes at the Lamar campus on Briarcrest Drive.
Today, the nation celebrated the dream of the father of the American Civil Rights Movement. People everywhere remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for his relentless push to bring equal rights into the lives of African Americans. Some Texas A&M students remembered King at a ceremony on campus tonight. The theme of the program was celebrating the birth, life and legacy of an American hero. Through songs and praise, students remembered Dr. King, and some said his dream still hasn't become a reality.
We've made enough strides, and I still feel that we have a ways to go, but we have made some small steps, but I still feel that it's important that we still recognize that, racism still exists.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have been 68 years old last Wednesday.
Well, some folks were out this morning in Bryan to mark the King holiday. In his honor, the first annual Freedom March started this morning at Kemp Elementary School in Bryan and made its way to Sadie Thomas Park.
More than 100 people took part in today's first ever Freedom March. Participants sang songs in memory of the slain civil rights leader. The event was sponsored by the alumni chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta Service Sorority.
Coming up on LateCast, dozens of volcanic eruptions have Indonesians on the run.
And parting can be such sweet sorrow. The space shuttle Atlantis has parted from the space station Mir and will soon be on its way home.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers from KBTX TV3, your Lotto Texas connection.
Madeleine Albright has made it through another stage in her trek toward becoming Secretary of State. The Senate Foreign Relations Committee unanimously confirmed Albright for that position today. The full Senate is expected to follow suit on Wednesday.
That Senate committee that approved Albright met in the Capitol even as thousands gathered outside for President Clinton's second inauguration. If confirmed as expected, Albright will be the first woman Secretary of State and the highest-ranking woman ever in the United States government. New York Governor George Pataki was in a traffic accident with a poultry truck this morning in Albany. Aides said he's okay, though. A spokesman said the chicken truck ran a flashing red light and broadsided the governor's state-owned Chevy Suburban. That truck driver got a ticket. A witness said Governor Pataki got out of the Suburban on his own after the wreck, but he looked a little stiff and shaken. And the ride aboard the space shuttle Atlantis was much smoother as it disconnected from the space station Mir. Atlantis left the Mir and U.S. astronaut Jerry Linenger last night. He stayed behind to spend time living on the Russian space station, just like Shannon Lucid and John Blaha before him. Blaha is coming home on Atlantis after spending 4 months on the Mir. He says he's most looking forward to a Mexican meal cooked by his mother. She is coming from San Antonio for her son's landing at Florida's Kennedy Space Center. So, Mama Blaha, have that meal ready Wednesday. Your son should be home then, unless NASA extends the mission to test some exercise equipment.
Iraqi President Saddam Hussein's eldest son, Uday Hussein, remains hospitalized following an assassination attempt last month. Sources say he's paralyzed from the waist down with 2 bullets lodged in his spinal cord. There are reports that France has rejected an Iraqi request to admit him for medical treatment. Iraq's Shiite Muslim opposition group and a member of the Dulami tribe have both claimed responsibility for the ambush. Uday has accused Iran of orchestrating the attack, but Tehran has denied that charge. Russian President Boris Yeltsin is out of the hospital, but he's not going to be going back to work just yet. His spokesman says Yeltsin will continue to recuperate from double pneumonia at his country residence just outside Moscow. Yeltsin checked into the hospital January 8th, just 2 weeks after he returned to work full-time after undergoing bypass surgery. For much of the last year, Yeltsin has been plagued with heart troubles. Some in the Russian parliament have begun calling for Yeltsin's impeachment, citing what they call his worsening health. And a volcano in central Java is still erupting, throwing out heat, clouds, and lava. Authorities are keeping residents on alert. 62 lava avalanches have been recorded so far since last night. Around 15,000 people have been evacuated from surrounding villages since the beginning of that eruption on Friday. Many residents have begun returning to their homes despite the warnings to stay away. Authorities fear evacuees who return home too soon will suffer respiratory problems from the volcanic ash, which is still spewing out of the crater.
Some Java lava. We've got a rainy Monday here in the Brazos Valley.
Java lava.
Tried to think about
Mama Blaha,
Yeah.
Java lava.
I'm on
We're
a
on a roll here tonight.
Don't you love a rainy night?
It's getting worse.
Yeah, I'll
Really
tell you what. But it's some good rain. And we're going to talk about just how much rain we've gotten over the last 24 hours and how much longer the rain will last, and another cold front in the forecast. All that with the weather coming up next.
Live Doppler 3 with Storm Tracker is brought to you in the public interest by First American Bank.
Good evening, everyone. Certainly been a rainy day and has turned into a rainy night. The rain's even picked up a bit this evening around the Bryan College Station area, and this is a look at Live Doppler 3 currently showing rain extending from the Bryan College Station area south of Interstate 10, and it's moving toward the north, as you can see on this loop over the last few hours. It's been moving almost due north, a little bit east of due north, and it's moving up into Leon County, up around the Centerville and Buffalo area now. Those of you in Houston County have kind of missed the rain so far, just a little bit of drizzle, but it will be raining in your area coming up over the next few minutes as well. Lighter rainfall amounts east of Interstate 45, but they'll be picking up during the night as the first upper level disturbance moves northward across the area. We've got another disturbance shown by the green enhanced clouds offshore in the Gulf. You can kind of see it between the cutouts in the satellite information, and that's working toward the north. So we're looking for another round of rain later on tonight or tomorrow, and a weak upper level disturbance south of Texas over northern Mexico right now is what's helping to spin this moisture up into the Texas coast. Over the next day, this disturbance is going to weaken and move off to the east, and we've got a lot of clouds out to the west right now over the Rocky Mountains, mainly just high-level clouds right now associated with a low-pressure trough. Now, this trough is going to develop into a Pacific-type cold front and move into the state tomorrow and into our area coming up Wednesday. Out ahead of it, though, we're looking for a continued chance of rain for about another 24 to 36 hours over the Brazos Valley. Current temperatures 50s over much of central Texas, 63 down at Brownsville, 40s over West Texas and the Panhandle. And here in the Brazos Valley right now, we've got rain, 61 degrees, dew point 59, hadn't budged since 6 o'clock. Relative humidity 94%, pressure steady, winds out of the southeast at 8. High today 62, morning low 52 degrees. Rainfall almost 3/4 of an inch here at the KBTX studios. Also 7/10 of an inch reported by Blake Bussey in Navasota. That brings our monthly total and our yearly total to a little over 2 inches. So we're really starting out the year nicely, much better than we started out 96 with a rainfall plus instead of on the minus category. Sunrise morning 7:22, sunset at 5:52. And when we come back, we'll have a look at our forecast and the 5-day outlook because the next cold front will move in Wednesday. We do have cooler, drier weather for the latter part of the week. We'll have all the details coming up next. Around the nation tomorrow, sunshine along the east coast. They had some rain there today, but it cleared up. And not long after the inauguration, started out kind of gray and drizzly over that area this morning. We'll see more rain over our area tomorrow. Cold front moving into the Panhandle, should move into our area on Wednesday afternoon. Also an Arctic front over the northern plains, some snow up there, snow over the Rockies, and another system moving into from the Pacific. But it looks like the colder Arctic air behind that front will head more to the east and not into our area. We're just going to see kind of a mild cold front later in the week. Foggy tonight, scattered rain, low of 59 degrees. Tomorrow, morning fog, scattered showers continuing during the day. High in the upper 60s, south winds around 10 miles per hour. And even though we look for the front to move in on Wednesday and the rain to move out, it won't cool off until Wednesday night. We'll see a high on Wednesday around 72 and then cooling down to around 50 Thursday morning. And then the cooler weather will reach us, lower humidity and nice sunny skies for the latter part of the week. Lows around 40, highs around 60. Should be beautiful by then. And the rain is really a nice sight right now, especially after 1996. We're kind of glad to start out 97 on a wet note.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Won't be griping about that anytime soon. Not really.
Yeah,
Thanks.
not.
Coming up next in sports, the Texas Aggies are gearing up for only their second ever shot at the nation's best in basketball.
And Darryl will tell us about a guard duo at A&M Consolidated High School that is making things happen for the Lady Tigers.
Bob French's WeatherCast has received a seal of approval from the American Meteorological Society. Bob French, Roger Berry, and Aaron Tuttle, the new Star 3 weather team. This is your news.
This is going to be a game to see, folks. Seeing the Aggies take on #1. Wouldn't that be swell if they just knocked them off?
It could happen.
I'd root for them.
It might happen.
It could happen.
It certainly could. We will not write the Aggies off.
No, we won't.
They could beat the Jayhawks. We'll have to wait and see. When Texas A&M joined the Big 12, they knew the basketball competition would be tougher, but also it would come with more opportunities. One of those opportunities comes A&M's way Wednesday night when they get a chance to play #1 ranked Kansas.
You don't get a chance to play the #1 team in the country often in your entire career. Hopefully you can get to be one of the #1 teams, but if not, you're going to have to play. If you can play them, that's a great opportunity. And, you know, I think it's going to be another learning experience. This whole first 4 games for our kids in the Big 12 has been a learning experience. We're 35–40% better than we were last year.
This is only the second time the Aggies have ever played a #1 ranked team. The last time, 1972, when the Aggies played UCLA, it resulted in the worst loss in A&M basketball history, 117–53. Up in Lubbock tonight, Eddie Sutton and Oklahoma State trying to avoid the sweep by Texas Tech and his old assistant, James Dickey. Cowboys built a 13-point lead in the second half. Keontae Roberts with the finger roll, but Tony Battie leads Tech with the comeback. The alley-oop slam, he's hacked on his way to the rack, and Tech leads it by 3 late. One upset tonight, Syracuse. They beat 12th ranked Villanova 62-60. Over in the NBA, plenty of afternoon action in honor of the Martin Luther King Day. The Dallas Mavericks playing the Lakers. Shaquille O'Neal with the mop-up slam. It was all Lakers in the final 3 quarters. Nick Van Exel leading the way with 24 and the 3. Lakers by 10. As for the Spurs, well, they lose to Minnesota 96-83. Now in high school basketball, Calvert North Zulch, they split tonight's game. Well, the Calvert boys win it by 28, while North Zulch girls, they counter to win it by 15. A&M Consolidated Lady Tiger basketball team, well, they are off to a pretty good start. Tied with Bryan for first place in the district. And as David Reed reports, double trouble could have something to do with it. The Lady Tigers' 21-4 overall record.
To be a point guard, you really have to have an eye for the floor, and Jennifer Hatch has that. She can see 5 to 10 people on the floor at one time, and she does a great job of that. Kristen is one that Jennifer keys on, but I'm not sure that anyone else could catch a ball that Jennifer throws any better than Kristen Benjamin does.
It's a tandem that's proven deadly in District 15-5A, the A&M Consolidated backcourt of Jennifer Hatch and Kristen Benjamin. Double trouble, 3-point Mad Bombers. Whatever the nickname, the dynamic duo has been successful, but only because they've always had someone pushing them, each other.
Me and her work hard against each other because we both are at the guard play, and she's very aggressive. I mean, we both are, and even though we're really good friends, we still go hard against each other. That's the only way we're going to make each other better. We work really well together. We play together since about 5th or 6th grade, and we just like to play as a team.
Hatch and Benjamin plan to help lead Consol deep into the playoffs behind their combined 27 points per game, 10 assists, and 10 steals. Many teams just have trouble crossing half court.
Now, obviously, these two are inseparable on the court, where their team's in the thick of a district race, but these two are also inseparable off the court.
They just do a lot of stuff together, and that's why they read each other so well on the court, because they are good friends off and on the court.
So who's the better shooter?
I don't know. It's different some nights. Some nights one of us is on, and some nights the other one.
If it comes down to one shot at the end of the game, who's going to take the shot?
Whoever is shooting well that night. If one of us is making a bunch, then they'll probably make one of us. We'll screen for the other one, and whoever has it gets to shoot.
Who's got the bigger ego?
Jennifer.
Kristen. And with 3-point aces like these, it almost seems unfair to most opponents. In fact, maybe they should start making them pull up from half court. Then again, maybe even that couldn't stop them. David Reed, News Star 3 Sports.
You have Batman and Robin, you have Jennifer and Kristen.
Quite a shot from half court. I'm impressed.
Pretty good duo.
Yes, thank you,
Daryl.
All right. Well, there's important news for breastfeeding moms and women considering breastfeeding their children.
Laura Cornett will have that up next in our Health Scene Report.
Hello, Brazosville. I'm Laura Cornett with a look at your health news. There's some good news when it comes to breastfeeding your baby. For years, there's been concern that pesticides such as DDT and industrial chemicals, including PCBs, are dangerous because they can contaminate breast milk and pose a health risk for children. Well, new studies show that simply isn't so. While there is evidence that these chemicals do appear in the fat of breast milk, researchers found that they do not have any long-term effects on children. According to the study, the effects are slight, and experts say pregnant women or breastfeeding mothers do not need to take special action. Although researchers caution that moms should not eat fish from areas with known contamination such as the Great Lakes region. Environmental researchers offer this reassurance to new parents, and that is that mother's milk is best for baby, and while the threat of chemicals in breast milk is very real, the risks are very small. With a look at your St. Joseph Health Scene Report, I'm Laura Cornett.
Thanks, Laura, and we'll be back with a couple of final items in a couple of minutes.
Here are tonight's winning lottery numbers from KBTX TV3, your Lotto Texas connection.
Today, Twin City Mission presented one of its employees with a unique honor. To thank Alice Magoo for her 15 years of service, the mission named its resale store for her. It'll be known as Alice's Attic. They say it never really had a name before, and they're proud to bear the name of one who's given so much to the community. What a nifty honor.
I like that story. And finally tonight, you know, it just doesn't happen that the president's inauguration coincides with a national holiday, but that's what happened on this Monday, January 20th.
We began our newscast with a look at the inauguration. We close it now with a look at the man whom this holiday honored. Good night.
Good night, y'all.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.